and welcome to another episode of The Influential Nonprofit. I'm your host, Maryanne Dersch. I work with nonprofit leaders to grow their influence so they can raise more money without feeling rejected or pushy. Imagine being able to easily enroll people in your vision without feeling like you have to push or convince them about anything. That's what I do, and that's what I teach. Now, I want to talk a little strategy today because something happened to me and it reminded me of this, and I wanted to bring this back up. I got hacked this week. This is the second time this year. I got hacked back in March. Lost my LinkedIn account for like a week. It was just gone, like gone. You couldn't even gone. Um, got hacked again. Um, the story I'm telling myself is that I got hacked because this is the lesson the universe needs me to learn because my business is about to take off and I'm will grow and more people will know me, and the more people will know me, the better security I need. And so I just figured this is an opportunity for me to grow in how I manage my online presence to keep myself secure while making lots of new friends. So it brought to me when I lost my LinkedIn again, it made me remember a lesson. And I wanted to share that lesson with you really quickly here. I love social media. I love, it serves a great purpose in our lives. When used well, it's an awesome tool. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all of those things. Those are great tools for creating creating new relationships and boosting the ones we have. And also, I want to remind you that you do not own your social media accounts, right? Like you get what you pay for sometimes, you know what I'm saying? Oh, so I heard someone tell me this once. It's like building your house on rented land. At any point, your account could get hacked. Your account, like Stray Rescue of St. Louis, could go down for community violation. Or it could just disappear. I know somebody who had a business and had, all the promoting she was doing was on Facebook. Woke up one day, page gone. And nobody actually works at these places that will talk to you about it. It's really hard. You know that because it's all email and forums and chats and stuff to get help. So it's just not what we call reliable reach. Everyone's trying to beat the algorithm and understand the algorithm, and then they'll just go change it. Um, you may see like, oh, our post used to get like this much exposure, and now it's just getting this much, and we haven't done anything different. That's unreliable reach. So it's great for creating community, and also your job is to get people off of social media and onto reliable reach. And the best, most effective, reliable reach you have is your email list. And I feel like email is kind of misunderstood and underutilized a bit in the nonprofit space. And I don't quite understand why, but that's okay. um, I think we're not sending out often enough, and we're putting too much in each email. But I digress. Let's go back to the lead magnet. What is a lead magnet? A lead magnet is a little pop-up window or something on your website that gives people something in exchange for their email. If you go, I say this at the end of every episode, theinfluentialnonprofit.com. If you go there, or it's called nonprofitleadershipguide.com, you can go there. I have like 3 or 4 different lead magnets that I use, just depending on where I am and what the topic is. Because I'm a creator like that, like you really only need one, so don't freak out. But what's something of value that you could share with your audience? What do you have? What do you know that you're an expert at that you could share? Like if you're Habitat for Humanity, like, 5 things to know when your home's under construction, or like the best new trends in home or whatever. Like everything that you do, you are an expert in. If you work with kids, let's say you work with kids in foster care, you know a lot about creating family, about dealing with kids in crisis that you could share with people. The 5 ways to do this, the 10 things you need to know before this. if you work with unhoused people, what to do when somebody approaches you for money on the street, how to handle that. And yeah, that interests me. I give you my email and I get to download a little guide or get access to some piece of information. That is a lead magnet. It does not have to be complicated. It does not have to be expensive. You could do it on Canva. My first one was just one simple sheet. Um, Sometimes I will develop things for trainings and then I'm like, oh, I really like this piece and I'll incorporate it into a lead magnet because I have it. There may be things around your office, like, hey, if you help people find, like you work with families who are looking for childcare, you may have a guide already that you could just repurpose as a lead magnet. It doesn't have to, and I don't want it to be donor related. Here's 5 reasons you should give to our nonprofit. No, it's about them. It's about something in their life or something that they want to learn for themselves that you have the expertise to share. If you work with seniors, talk about like something, how to pick the right place for your loved one, how to know when it's time to move your parents out of independent living, out of living on their own, that kind of thing. There are so many different resources that you could create. And here's the other thing is that you have the technology to do this. Every single website platform, I use Squarespace, WordPress, whatever it is, has the ability to create a pop-up window. And then you create a little form and you attach it to your email list. Now, I am the least techie person on the planet. I can almost guarantee you that. And I did this myself, myself. I did this myself. And so it's not hard to do. It's not hard to set up. You can find somebody to help you. That's great. But if you don't, that's okay too, because it's really not that hard. So there's no barrier to this for you, right? It doesn't cost a lot of money. You already have the expertise. You could set it up on Canva or something. You don't even have to have it like that. You can have a nicely designed, just one page of content. It's about the content and connecting with people who are like-minded, right? Who are seeing the same thing, who share the same heart, right? The same philanthropic heart. If you go to my episode 60, the content hourglass, I go into how to create content. And I explain how the lead magnet works within the whole system of this. And I'm not going to get into it today because I do it in episode 60. So you might want to go back and listen to the content hourglass. But because I got hacked, because I've had this experience, it made me realize and remember how important it is to get your people off of social media and onto the reliable reach of email. Now, while we're on the subject of email, I just want to share a couple things. Okay. The first one is, if you are doing like monthly emails with several articles, sort of newsletter style, you want to think about not doing that. And there's a couple of reasons. One is it's just not as effective. You wind up getting into spam more often. People don't open them because they have to sort through the content, right? They have to like look through all this content. The less graphics that you have, the more likely, the higher the deliverability. And the second reason is, again, I as the reader have to look through and see what's important to me. Now, I'm going to give that about, I don't know, 2.5 seconds, because you would too. And if I don't see anything immediately that's interesting, I just won't look. And if you're sending out monthly, you have a 20% open rate, which is like a pretty good open rate. That means 80% of the people did not read your newsletter. So 80% of the people aren't getting it. So if you're only mailing monthly, you're missing people for months at a time. They will believe they have not heard from you for months. The best way to increase your deliverability, to increase your open rates, and to actually connect with people is one story a week. And I go into this whole thing in the Content Hourglass, episode 60, about why this is important. But you're going to tell one awesome story a week, and that is your email. And so instead of mailing monthly with like 5 or 6 things, mail once a week with one thing. And when you set up your lead magnet and we start pulling people off of social media and really growing your email list in an intentional way, then you can look and say, okay, how can we segment this list? So we can send, program information to program people, volunteer information to people who want to volunteer, donor information to donors. Yeah, there'll be some crossover. So you may be telling, you may have, what I'm saying is, if you segment your list, you may have maybe 2 or 3 content hourglasses going at once. I don't want to confuse you, but you know what I'm saying. So if you're growing your list, this is the perfect way to do it. And I don't know a lot of nonprofits that have lead magnets, and I am astounded as to why. Because that whole sign up for our email with the little box in the corner, that is not sexy. That is not enticing. Why would I give you my email? Like, what is that for me? But if I say, hey, subscribe to our newsletter and get the 10, the 10 ways you can help kids in foster care. Okay. What 10 things you can do right now to support a kid in foster care. I'm down for that. And then I'm going to give you my email address, and I'm going to get this, you can create this fulfillment page. Um, and then I get this content, and then I get to be on your email list. And also all up front, right? Like, when they put their email list to you, you're going to put, you subscribe it, unsubscribe at any time. People know when they do these things, they're probably going to go on a list, and then you're going to send them a welcome sequence. And I won't go into that too much, but basically, once people subscribe to the list, then you're going to send them a welcome sequence, which is 3 emails, saying, hey, thank you so much for subscribing. Here's your little download, blah, blah, blah. And then you may do another one. Hey, if you haven't downloaded it yet, here's my favorite part of it. Or, so it's called a three email nurture sequence. And then from there, you put them on your list. This is the most effective way to grow your list. It is the most effective way to create reliable reach. The things that you need to create a lead magnet, or is the gift, the piece of graphic, the chart, the guide, the tip sheet, whatever it is, you need that. You need a landing page on your website for people to find, and a domain that points to it. And you need a fulfillment page and the pop-up form. So 2 different pages on your website, the graphic and a pop-up form. That's it. That's it. And once you figure out how to do this, it's like, oh, it's really not hard. Trust me, because I told you I did it myself. If you have a lead magnet, I know my email's down right now, but email me, Maryanne at courageouscommunication.com. I would love to see examples of this, because I hope I'm wrong and there's like a million lead magnets out there, and I would just love to know how it's working for you. I would love to know how it's helping you grow your list. If I can get enough lead magnets, I would love to do just a whole episode talking about the different lead magnets and how well they're working for people. Because I do feel like this is a missed opportunity for us as an industry, because there's no barrier to doing this. You have the technology, it doesn't cost money, it doesn't take a lot of time, and it's going to do exactly what you need it to do, which is create more reliable reach. And from that place, then, of an email list of growth, you can look at, okay, how can I segment it? How can I refine what I'm doing via email? The first thing for sure, is to create that lead magnet and create a plan to get people off of social media, which is unreliable reach, and onto your email, which is reliable reach. And if you're mailing once a month, consider once a week, with less content each time. So that is my magic formula, friends. That is the thing to do. Remember, you're building your house on rented land. We want to get people off of social media and onto your email list, because that is reliable reach. This is how I run my business. This is how I coach and train other nonprofits that I work with to really grow their community of support in a way that makes people feel connected and cared for. Those algorithms, they don't serve you, and they don't serve your donors either, because it's like, oh, I used to see their stuff all the time and I don't see it anymore. I wonder what happened. No, it creates tension, where there doesn't really need to be. So there it is. Go forth and make the lead magnet. And so now I have to plug mine, because I do it at the end of every episode. If you don't have it already, go to theinfluentialnonprofit.com. You will see my lead magnet. That's exactly what I have. If you're not on my list already, throw your email in there, pick up that guide. There is some really good stuff in there, y'all. I mean, it's some good stuff. A really cool ebook called Stop Sitting Back and Start Making Change, which is around a lot of the things that I talk about. in my work in influence and how to get people to enroll in your vision, how to basically get people to do what you want them to do. um, and a couple of other really cool things in there. Now, when you look at mine, yours does not have to have three things. I just happen to have three things that I really liked, and I packaged them together. You just need one thing, and it can be as simple as a sheet. It can be as simple like as something you already have already that you're just going to repurpose into a lead magnet. I know 100%, I am sure there is something of value, some expertise that you have that you could share with others. Any questions, you know I'm available hopefully within the next day or so. Maryanne at courageouscommunication.com. If you would like to talk with me more about what it would look like to work together and what it looks like to join my Uplevel Your Influence course and start implementing some of more leadership and effective communication in your life, I'm happy to talk about that with you too. You can just email me at Maryanne at courageouscommunication.com. And that is it for this episode of Me and the Influential Nonprofit.